This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with that prize guy. We're here again for Jim. I'm delighted to be joining one of Belfast's newest professional boxers, Oisin Dunlop. How are you?
All good, mate. Training away, training hard. So it's 5.5 weeks here to the debut, so
Nerves are kicking in now, are they?
not yet, but maybe closer to the 10. You know what I mean? It's natural. It's normal to have a bit of nerves, like. It'd be a bit weird if you didn't, so.
I guess, obviously I think you were announced as obviously turned over by the gaughran in July.
Yep.
I'd seen you obviously in D. Walsh's gym before that. I think you were training, sparring with John Boyd and hijjah mcmahon. So you sort of planned this for a bit of time. I guess you sort of learned the ropes of maybe what it was sparring pros before you made the decision to turn over.
Yes, to be honest, since I started boxing, it's always been about professional. Literally all professional, amateurs. I gave it a go, but yeah, since literally I started boxing, it's been about world titles and rather than the Olympics. And since sparring John and hijjah and all them boys up there, it's kind of put that in me like, yeah, let's go pro now, you know. And yeah, they were unreal rounds to see the experience you got off them boys, like top, because they've had a few fights now, do you know what I mean? So, and to get that like pro style in, it's usually a jump. You have to really jump from amateur to professional. So sparring them boys, that jump will be a lot faster, do you know what I mean? And when you get in there, you'll not feel anything new, or you'll just be used to it all. Like.
Where you say there that obviously community boxing was always going pro, was there any particular reason? Like, was it always that you associated more with professional boxing than you did with amateurs?
Yeah, it was just watching it on TV, do you know what I mean? It was just more, my dad actually brought me to the Odyssey. I think it was a Frampton card, and ever since that, seeing the bright lights, seeing them walk in, that's just been the dream, like, since no age, like, so that's always what it's been about, like.
And your dad's big into boxing as well, so was that nearly like he was, the way sometimes you can't force a child into something,
No.
but you can sort of give them that effect, like going to a Frampton night, say, rather than, for instance, a small hall card, we might not see that buzz in the atmosphere so much, like he fell in love with it straight away.
Yeah, like, he put my first pair of gloves on me when I was free. There's actually a photo of it, I'll send you after, but yeah, it's literally, he's got me into it, and I couldn't be more thankful, like. It's changed my life, like, teach the discipline, do you know what I mean, all the values you need, like, so and I'm excited to start this pro journey.
What sort of, I guess you sort of touched on it a wee bit, obviously, the buzz of a Frampton night and things like that, but, what history is there in the family, of boxing, like, are you carrying on a trend, like, what is the history of your own family in boxing?
Just, my dad gave it a go when he was younger, so when he was always into it, he's always a big, huge boxing fan, and yeah, like, me and him when I was younger, we would sit and watch the fights, and we would, and it's just always, me and him was boxing mad. We'll have mum we said tortured in the house with it, because it's just always before training talking about boxing, after training talking about boxing. It's just boxing mad. So yeah, just two big boxing fans, and he got into the coaching just as I was born, roughly, and that's just where he's got me straight into it. You know what I mean? Which, again, as I said, I couldn't be more grateful.
It's obviously it's amazing for you to obviously have your own father involved with your boxing, but like you see it a lot nowadays. Like, even particularly, if I think of another sport like football, like you see the amount of dads that become coaches of their kids' teams and things like that growing up. Gives obviously a good foundation, knowing that you've had trust factor there already. I guess probably you've had days of falling out as well, obviously, over the training and things like that. You're going, I'm sore, I've done this, but it's all got you to this point.
Yeah, no, yeah, like, I think there's positives and negatives to it, do you know what I mean? But me and my dad, we've built, obviously after the last, I think put on my first pair of gloves and I was free, do you know what I mean? The last 15 years, me and him have literally, like that, so we know how to work with each other, and it's got to the stage now where, like, a lot more goods than bads, do you know what I mean? So that's it.
Who would you have said, obviously, what age, so if you put on your first set of gloves at three, so sort of pretty much since then, or like when did it really
I had my first exhibition when I was 4, believe it or not, like, which is crazy to think about. Well, when I say exhibition, it was 20-second rounds, both kind of just looking at each other. And then had more exhibitions, fighting every 2 weeks in wee exhibitions, and just on a wee club show. And obviously had to wait until I was 11 for my first competitive bout, but yeah, it's just gain the experience.
It must have been, it must be hard, like, to think of, from the age of 4 having your first exhibition and then having your first proper fight at 11. Like, I understand the fact that, you have to be a certain age to be able to box competitively, but for a young kid, sort of like, when all you want to do is fight, I guess, was it probably ingrained more in you from 4 to 11 that, it was fights rather than exhibitions? Like, what was ingrained in you? It was a fight, it was an exhibition? Like, did you see it as fun? Did you see it enjoyable?
To be honest, I did take it really serious. See, when I was 7 and 8, like a exhibition, it was like the biggest thing ever. The whole week was, talking about it in school, bringing in the medals and all after, acting like it was world champions. You know what I mean? And then of course we're getting your hand raised for the first time officially on a competitive bout. Just not feeling it, and yeah, it was a long wait, but it was worth it.
Was it probably more, because obviously I think I went to one of the antrim threes, I think it was, about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And obviously the fight could be completely one-sided, but
Yeah.
it still scored a draw. Like, was a draw sometimes worse for you than, say, maybe picking up a defeat as an amateur whenever you became competitive? Like, because you were going, I won that, but they give it a draw because it's an exhibition.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really competitive too. So when that kind of happened, I was kind of like, do you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, looking back, it's only kids. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of a way to keep people at it and keep people at the boxing instead of pushing them away from the sport. Do you know what I mean? So it's good. It's good to do that. I'd say, like.
Talk to me obviously about your amateur career. Obviously, what success you've had as an amateur. Obviously, how I guess that period sort of went for you. Because I guess from you growing up, how you wanted to be as a professional boxer. Like,
Yeah.
Were you always counting down the days of turning pro? Like, was it hard for you? Like, were you probably saying to your dad, I want to turn pro now, I want to turn pro now? You can go pro at 16 in Mexico. Like, them sort of conversation stuff you have with your dad on when was the right time to turn pro?
Yeah, to be honest, in the amateurs, anytime I entered anything up here, the antrims or the ulsters, I won it, and that was more the focus just up here. And it wasn't until I was sparring the pros really that was, let's go pro now, do you know what I mean? I always knew that was what I was going to do, but I never realised how early it would have came about, but here we are, so.
So you're an antrim champion,
Antrim,
an
Ulster,
champion.
entered the International Box Cup now, happens down in Gerwood. Won that, being the Irish finals, corruption and amateur boxing, boxing in general as well, so.
Yeah.
A few times thought I maybe should have got them all, but I didn't. But it's character building in the end, so it's kind of made me the boxer I am today. That resilience to just continue going even when you don't agree with some decisions. But
does it make it easier sometimes, like when you know there's so much of that goes on in amateur boxing? That you've done the best, but maybe somebody from a different region. Like, obviously they've always said sometimes if you're down in Dublin.
Yeah.
But if you're in Belfast, it's hard to get the decision down there. Like, did it become easy for you, obviously dealing with, losing when you should have won and things like that, because you were seeing it happen to the others?
Seeing it happen to the others, and also a boy won Irish final. I didn't think I could have boxed any better, but the judges thought the other fella won. So since an early age, it was really like ingrained in me that that's just how it was. So I kind of got to the stage where, see, when I fought I won and I didn't get the decision, it was just it's another fight under the belt, some more experience, and look to the next one. Do you know what I mean? That's just kind of how I got
Did
to.
you ever have the opposite way, where obviously you thought you didn't win, but you did win? Do you know the way sometimes, the way they say in football, sometimes it balances itself out over a season? Like, did you ever get?
Had a few 50-50s where I wasn't sure and I got the nod, but also a few 50-50s and I didn't, where the ones you couldn't have complained about. There's been times too where it was a 50-50 or you look back and when you actually watch it back, I did way better than what I thought I did in there as well. I'm my own worst critic, so when I look back, I need to really analyse it after than making like a irrational comments after, straight after.
Like a Michael Conlon?
Like a straight after, do you know what I mean? And beat myself up for it, but when you actually watch the footage back, it's, do you know what I mean? I box well, and so I just need to take that into consideration.
How many fights then have you had competitively? Obviously, I guess it'd be hard to count them up with all the exhibitions, but how many?
Say around 50 competitively on my card. Like, it was hard because about 2 or 3 years ago, just took a white Sean and my boxing card was in my pocket, so that all lost. I got a new one and I've had about 15 since that, and I think there was about 35 in the last one. I had about 50.
It's it all counts as great experience, particularly international box cups and things like that, boxing people from other regions. Like,
Yeah.
how do you feel? I guess as you turn over as to a pro now, how do you feel that amateur experience has got you to this point? Like, you probably boxed every style, you boxed
Yep.
fighters in different ways. Like, how do you feel that experience you banked as an amateur is going to help you as a pro?
Yeah, I've been more than ready for anything, to be honest. And people say like it's literally like two different sports, the amateur and the pros. But since the start of the amateurs, like I've kind of always had a pro style. Everyone's been saying to me, "Oh, you'd be a really good pro." Like kind of the first two rounds, I'm kind of only getting warmed up. See the third round, I'm like, that's when I get going, and it's frustrating to watch too. Seeing the amateurs like, to watch it back, and in the third round you're starting to take over, and you're like, oh, if I had 30 more seconds or if I had one more round, you know what I mean? It was really frustrating. So now that I've the extra wee bit here in the pros, it'll definitely make a big difference to the performances too.
I hear that quite a lot. You know, quite a lot of boxers I've interviewed, you know, the last few years, and they've said, you know, the amateur style just didn't sit because it was too short and,
Yep.
and you know, it was too quick, sort of. Like, how do you think that'll help into the pros? Like, I guess pro boxing is completely different. Obviously,
Yep.
your first few fights are probably against people that aren't coming to win. In some
No.
ways, they're a journeyman in their roles. But how do you think that'll help you? Will that adjustment at the start of professional boxing help, because you get that time to adjust? You're able to plant your feet more.
Yep.
Sort of somebody's not in your face. Like,
Yeah.
how do you feel that'll help? Will it be different than what it was as an amateur? Or?
Yeah, I'd say so. I've always been really like, I like taking my time. I like sussing them out. You know what I mean? I'm more of a counter puncher, to be honest, but I can also stand and bang. So in the pros, I'll be able to show everything. I'll be able to show the whole circle, like, because I'll have more time to do it. You know what I mean? Be able to show every skill that I have. Because I actually don't believe that in a fight I've been able to show. See, with how short an amateur fight is, I don't think I've been able to show my whole skill set yet. So I'm excited to finally prove myself.
It's a good thing in some ways, you know, because, you know, if you probably don't feel you've been able to express yourself properly,
Yep.
you're going to be able to do that as a pro. You know, you're going to be able to do anything you sort of want. Like, you know, you probably might have power where you probably didn't feel you had power before. You know, you can adjust yourself properly
Yep.
into the pro style. So there's something probably for you to excite about, to see how far your potential
Big
can go.
time, yeah. That's it. Like, it's always, as I've said, it's always been the dream to be world champion. So I'm really excited how far me and my dad can go. Like, and fingers crossed. You know what I mean? I've been putting in the work, and it hasn't been for no reason, and it'll pay off one day.
Talk to me, obviously, the early stages of being an amateur boxer. Who was the idols you looked up to? You know, did you have local idols? Did you have international idols? Who did you sort of, when you were shadow boxing and things like that, like, who did you mimic your style on? Who was your goat, sort of?
To be honest with you, Frampton. See, since I went to the Odyssey, I remember going my dad again bringing me to, it was a open workout in Castle Court, and Tyson Fury and I was there. I wasn't sure.
2018 was that?
Was it?
For
It
Windsor?
might have been. I was about 10, like, yeah, 10, 11. And I just remember him signing the autograph. Jack Catchell was there too. Got a signed glove off Emmons, and it's just been like, wow, see Boston on the TV. I remember him against Luke Jackson. Was it Luke Jackson?
Luke Jackson,
It was
yeah,
that, wasn't it?
Windsor Park.
Yeah. I remember watching that fight and just being like, wow, like one day it could be me. It was just always a dream. I like all the Olin, see Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard, Thomas Hearns. Like, you couldn't beat Boston in them fights. Like, it's unreal. It's can't always be them. It's all old school, like, watching. Yeah, some cracking fights. Riddick Bowe, Evander Holyfield, the trilogy. I don't know. Yeah, just.
It's like, you know, you look back in the early days of boxing, like, there used to be nearly sort of no rounds, sort of. You just kept fighting
I
and
just kept
fighting.
going.
You know, I think I remember a fight. I can't remember the two fighters' names, so I'm not going to sort of make a mistake here and sort of go back. Did I say that? But I remember that actually there was two people fighting, and they fought for so long they had to call the fight off for exhaustion.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah, about 400 rounds or something. They're not used to work as well, where it was a round ended if you got knocked down.
Yeah.
Like crazy, like. And then obviously the set rules now, it's on from 15 to 12. So
And the gloves they had back then as well. Like,
Gloves.
you know, do you think of the gloves?
more or less knuckle, just a wee bandage around the knuckle, like. So yeah, so
You know, I guess having idols in the sport like Frampton, did that help when days were tough in the sport, where, you know, maybe your dad was referencing going, well, Carl Frampton was beat here, and look what I've done here, and, you know, vice versa. Like, having them role models, how did they help get you to this point?
yeah, big time. See, just looking at other people's like amateur career journeys, and as mad as it sounds, like I was watching like Roy Jones Jr. and we got robbed in the Olympics, and then when I'm not getting decisions that I thought I should have, you kind of just look at people like that and where they eventually got to, and it just kind of reminds you like I need to stick at this here and don't be giving up, because they didn't give up and look where they are now. Do you know what I mean?
I think I'm right in saying Frampton said that when he was an amateur, he wasn't the best amateur was there.
Yeah, as well.
He used pretty much in some ways used that amateur experience, but like he said, he wasn't the best there.
Yeah.
But he worked the hardest.
Yeah,
you know,
no,
so
that's it.
as I guess it's a proof for
Yeah.
you to go. The harder you work,
Yeah.
doesn't matter what you done as an amateur.
Yeah.
Everything's all ahead of you as a pro.
Yeah, that's just what I was saying there earlier. Like all this work can't be for nothing. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm gonna get something out of it. I'm gonna achieve my goal, my dream, which is to be a world champion. Like, so I just need to stick at it. I'm training consistently now, and I will throughout the rest of my professional career. Like, and the results will come.
Since obviously you've announced, you know, you went pro, you've been obviously sparring quite a lot. Obviously, fighters. Obviously, you've been down sparring McKenna, Stevie McKenna, Michael Mckinson, obviously as well. Like you're broadening your horizons with fighters that are a lot long in the sport.
Yeah.
Do you find it weird in some ways whenever you finish a spar and they're saying do this better or do this better? They're actually trying to help you get better.
Yeah. So world class. Like, see, boys down in Monaghan, McKenna's and Mikey Mckinson, like world class sparring. You wouldn't get better anywhere else in the world. So, and yeah, you'll learn wee bits off them, and I'll be able to now use them in my game, and one day it'll all just come together, and do you know what I mean, in my pro career.
You can't be probably starting off boxing at a better time. Obviously we just did a new world champion crowned less than 2 weeks ago, and obviously there's Crocker back at Windsor Park again. Sort of were your first sort of memories.
I was there as well. Your
first sort of memories were, you know, a great time for you to be starting off in the sport when the spotlight's on. So many pros, you know, people's looking out and going, here's somebody starting out. You know, maybe in the past people may have said, you know, your first interview you go and want to be a world champion, people go, oh, here's another one doing that. But every boxer has a dream. Like I think you probably seen the post I had of Lewis Crocker the other day from a young age. He's the same pose from then. He's now been a world champion. Things like that can only inspire you.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's motivation, to be honest, seeing that people from our area in Belfast can become a world champion. Do you know what I mean? And I'm glad that Lewis got that, because it means there's more big nights in Belfast. Hopefully I can get on a few other cards, rack up the experience. You know what I mean? One day hopefully headline something like that myself.
And obviously the person that's headlining the card, Kyle Smith, made his debut in that card as well. So it goes to show you, I guess, you know, would you rather maybe have a few fights, sometimes getting thrown in the deep end, a big card, but you rather have a few fights to learn the basics of professional boxing before getting thrown into the spotlight, a big card?
Yeah, either or. I think I've been boxing that long that I would have been ready for a big stage, and now, to be honest, it's a privilege to fight on Thriller at the Mill here. So thanks to Ian and Mark for sorting that out. But yeah, either or I would have been ready, would have went in and did the job.
Yes, Thriller in the Mill. November 2nd, I was going to say October 2nd,
No,
November 2nd, just over 5.5 weeks, pretty much. Sunday show as well, like I'm not
Sunday
sure,
show, yeah, wasn't
not sure I've never had a Sunday show in Belfast.
No, I first fight as well, so 3 o'clock. So, but I'm used to fighting in the afternoon anyway, the amateurs, so I'll be more than used to that anyway. So.
I guess in some ways, like you have your fight, go and wash and get changed, then you can still have your Sunday dinner.
You can celebrate and still have a Sunday dinner. That's it actually. Yeah, I really thought about that. It's handy.
Is it good one? So you were at Windsor for Crocker Donovan.
Yeah.
So your opponent actually fought.
Seen that? Yeah.
Kyle Smith, obviously Conor Meanwell. At that stage, did you know he was going to be a potential opponent? Like, are you probably now studying back at that fight to watch?
I knew he was a potential, but it wasn't anything. Well, nothing was official yet. Obviously now, I've watched a couple of his fights, and you know the guy's durable enough, but so are most of the journeymen. Like, and I'm gonna go in and do the job, and that's it. Like.
He's been here a few times, obviously. Kyle, and he also boxed John Boyd.
Sparring John Boyd up that fight, yeah. My dad actually wanted to watch John up in the Devonshire that night, like, so, and he's been watching him on too, so, you know, that's it.
Is it easy or hard sometimes in watching an opponent, because I guess you're going to have a completely different style, the John and the Kyle, and like, is it easy sometimes to watch an opponent, or is it more down to your dad to sort of look at what he doesn't do well so you can capitalise on it?
Yeah, both. We'll analyse it, like, we just look for holes and areas that he's opening and areas that you know you can find openings and feints and what to do and what not to do, and just come up with a game plan. And it's just my job then to on the fight day to execute it.
Talk to me obviously about the style of a fighter you are. Like, if you're probably to say, probably sometimes it's hard to do, but if you're to sort of say pick a boxer that sort of your style sort of mimics on who you are, I guess you're probably going to have your own style that you want to be rather than anybody else. But of a boxer, probably.
To be honest, I'm actually a mixture. To be honest, I can stand fully shell, block. I can go forward and put on the pressure. I can be a pressure fighter, back foot, front foot, counter punch. I have all the skills in the book. I just need to.
The boxes are all ticked.
Yeah, the boxes are all ticked. I just need to develop them and prove on fights that I have them skills and be able to get on the more shows and constantly just improve my craft.
Talking obviously, you're signed to the gaughran obviously as your manager. How did that sort of come about? Were you seeing that the opportunities Ian was getting other fighters in the stable, and was it sort of you contacted? Like, how did that go?
Yeah, so Ian actually, I sparred one of Ian's fighters, and then he followed me on Instagram, and I followed him back, and I was just kind of looking for his posts, and was like, do you know what I mean? At this point though, I had no plan to go pro so soon, and he was showing me interest. He was liking my posts, he was liking my stories, and after sparring like Sir John Boyd for a while, dropped him a message and asked him would he be interested, and and that's where it started from. Like,
it's I guess it's great for you in a lot of ways when you're seeing he has Rudy and Matty, or both his fighters were on the Crocker Donovan 2 card. He's had fighters and obviously Keith Taylor cards and stuff before it. Fills you with a lot of confidence, when there's big cards announced, Ian's going to do everything he can to get you on them.
Yeah, no, definitely. Ian, he's top man. Like, he'll try his best to get me on the cards, and my job's just to go in and do the job. Do you know what I mean? And execute my game plan, and that's it. And
Who do you think will be more nervous in the 2nd of November? You or your dad? Obviously, as you start that journey from amateur to pro, like, who do you think will be more nervous?
I'd say my dad. I'm used to this now. Like, the nerves. Like, I'm used to it. Like, I used to get really nervous, and I used to put a lot of pressure on myself. But now it's just getting relaxed and just So, but I'd say my dad. Like,
how did you? As you're saying, you used to put a lot of pressure on yourself. Like, there's probably a lot of young amateurs and things out there that still put a lot of pressure on themselves. How did you learn not to put pressure on yourself?
I felt that when I put pressure on myself, I performed worse. So I kind of there was like a mental switch in my brain that there was actually a fight after lockdown, and I was kind of putting a lot of pressure on myself, and I ended up losing. So after that, I was just, that's it now. Do you know what I mean? I've lost. I felt what losing feels like. So now it's just about getting in and improving and developing, and do you know what I mean? Getting the experience in.
Was that a relief for you in some ways? Now you look back and going with experiencing defeat, that what it feels like to lose, and you don't want it to happen again. Like, that pressure was taken off. Like, we see so many nowadays that think they're a Floyd Mayweather and go the whole career undefeated, whether it's amateur or pro. That weight was lifted off your shoulders by losing your role, so to speak. To go, well, now I know what it's like to lose. I don't want it to happen again.
Yeah, definitely. Did take a lot of pressure off, to be honest, and I could really tell. See, since that, like, the performances were a lot better. I was a lot less nervous. I was burning a lot less nervous energy, and I'll be easily able to transfer that now into the pro game. Like,
so in some ways, you're sort of saying to someone, if you haven't experienced your first loss and you have all that pressure on yourself, go and lose.
More or less, like, do you know what I mean? Like, see the learning lesson from losing. Like, you think, as you were saying, Floyd Mayweather staying undefeated and all, but there's no better learning lesson than a defeat. So. And that's all my losses stood by me, like, and it's made me a better fighter.
Yes, as I say, there's so many, just to think of that and go, I'm going to go my whole career undefeated. Like, there's no shame in losing.
No, like, so as long as you perform your best and you give it all, like, and there's no shame, is there? Like,
you look at, I think Paddy Barnes. Paddy Barnes lost his first 7 fights in amateur, and he, Olympic medalist and everything like that.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's about that perseverance. And just stick at it, keep going, and you'll get there one day.
Do you think as a young boxer, so much emphasis is put on, protecting more recently with these Saudi cards and stuff like that? Is the opinion changing of not everything's about being undefeated?
No, I think I'm not sure, to be honest. It's just everyone has their opinions. Do you know what I mean? People, as you've said, people fly wherever want to stay undefeated, and I think then once they would lose, they'd realise then, you know, like after they become a better fighter and they're going, right, maybe that loss wasn't so bad. And then the next fight they'd improve and they'd feel that themselves that loss was worth it then, you know, in the end, like, or when they eventually get there, they go to themselves, see that loss, they laugh about it, you know what I mean, instead of crying like they were. So
obviously I guess, you know, you've been so used to the professional game, like how have you prepared your mind for that switch over from amateur boxing to professional boxing, like, you know, with everything changing, obviously gloves, no head guards, not wearing a vest and anything like that, like the different opponents, selling tickets. How have you mentally prepared yourself for this next stage and selling tickets, promoting yourself, fighting completely different style of fighter you would have had before? How you, that switch changed?
As far as the headgear and all, and it's, to be honest, I've been mentally prepared since there was no way. It's like, see, watching it on the TV, I've always been ready. Vest and all used to annoy me. I used to ask at a box about it, like the pros. And the tickets regard side of things, like, you know, it's going to be hard at the start, as it is for everyone, but I've managed well so far, so let's hope it continues.
I think I'm right in saying that the show's nearly sold out as well. Obviously,
Yeah.
I know it's a smaller venue than probably what would normally be used, but I guess with it being a Sunday show, sometimes it's hard to know how many people can actually come to it. So, you know, I'm guessing probably you don't have too many tickets left.
No, not a lot of tickets left. I have a couple there. So, and I've all, see, just because it was boxing for the Belfast Kronk Amateur Club there, loads of people there looking to get tickets, and I've loads of friends just because I'm out of school and university too. So I have a lot of people there, you know, to come and support me, and it's handy in that sense. Like,
What are you studying in uni?
sport and exercise sense. Yeah, so get a degree in that in the 3 years, and that's it. I have a backup there with the boxing.
So,
Anything happens, injury, or
so what does that qualify you from uni then?
you could do a placement year, you could be a physio, you could be a PE teacher. I don't really know what I really want to get into yet. Sports therapy, there's a lot of routes to go down, but I would say that's the most, like, the highest sport degree level you can get. So in Belfast anyway. So yeah, that's it.
It'd be handy, I guess, you know, if you were a sports physio, sort of been involved in the sport.
For
Like,
myself,
you could be, you know, a professional boxer and obviously a part-time physio, sort of.
Yeah.
Like, you help yourself, you able to help others. You're a little bit like a cup man is on the
Yeah.
night. You know, people's there getting their hands wrapped.
Yeah, yeah.
You're there giving people obviously
Yeah.
a bit of physio treatment. Sort of, you could balance two roles together.
yeah, work with each other, like, and for myself too. So I'm studying about, like, recovery and things like that. So it would help in my training camps, and it would help, I think. To be honest, I kind of live the life. See, like, training camps and all, like, I've been training twice a day, 6 days a week for the past 2 years. Even the amateurs I was doing it, do you know what I mean? I've always trained like a pro and a professional, so now that I'm here, it's kind of just not changed. But yeah, going down that sport and exercise centre route definitely help with my training, recovery, a whole lot. So
Your head fairly switched on. Like, is that, you know, I guess if I probably look back 10 years ago in professional boxing, people would be starting their professional career with an S&C coach. You're doing that before your debut. So, like, where does all that come from? Where's all this plan of, you know, you're training twice a day, 6 days a week, having your S&C, having your diet? Has that all come from others? Like, where's all that?
My dad's the man. He sorts it all out. Like, the research and the knowledge he has about it's unbelievable. Chris downstairs was saying, strength coach and he's the intelligence that he has. He's doing my strength and conditioning, and the intelligence he has is unbelievable. And my dad with the boxing too. I don't think there's a better coach in the world, honest to God. Like, I know I'm gonna be biased, but and they see them two together, like, that they're gonna create.
Your pocket money's going to go up. Your dad's going to give you more money. Like.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
I guess obviously another vital part is as you build, and obviously I'm guessing you want to be active as much as possible.
Yeah, big time. I'd like to get out as much as I can. Do you know what I mean? And I've been saying that at the end too, and he's saying, yeah, I'm gonna try his best. So that's it. Is try and get as much fights as I can.
I guess the big part of that as well is obviously going to be sponsorship. I do know obviously you just announced a new sponsor.
Yeah.
As well.
I've got a few sponsors now. Yeah, and none of this would be possible without them. See, the fight kits and nutrition supplements and etc. Like, this wouldn't be possible without any of them. And
putting you on the spot here, but do you want to give them a shout out? Obviously,
yeah.
I will apologise in advance in case you
No.
in case you miss any out, because
I'm just gonna get up here in case I do. So the Game 4 gym, this facility here, you can beat it. I highly recommend. DC building contracts, Declan McCullough, top man, AH Assist, you know, the accident management class, they sponsor me with shorts and all, so Sandy, Larky's Day to Day, AMG Activewear, Anton, for the clothes, honest to God, unreal. Abbey Auto Care, Tierna, if you ever need a valley. Strength coach as it was on about downstairs, Chris, the intelligence that guy has. See any athletes looking to get into the strength training and need an S&C coach, so I couldn't recommend Chris anymore. Like the things he knows, I've been in the gym now 5 years, and he's been here, and the knowledge I've gained off him is unbelievable. And then obviously CK memorabilia, Connor, what a guy, sorted me out and all the hat. So you know, I'd highly recommend him too. See the posters and the memorabilia that he has. It's unbelievable. Just go on his website, like class.
Do you have a boxing nickname yet?
Diamond.
Diamond.
It's always been that since I was 4 too. I was a bit raising too because Dustin Poirier kind of came about after that, so people probably maybe going copying him, but it's been like that since I think it was it must be my dad or my like thing. But
what's the name behind it? What's the reference behind the diamond?
Just it's unbreakable. And that was just always the thing. Like, do you know what I mean? No matter how many losses you have, you're gonna keep going, persevere. That's just kind of where it came from.
It's a good nickname to have. Obviously, I guess as you've got to this point, it's sort of, you know, diamonds can be unbreakable, and probably your dad kept reference that back to you when things weren't going well.
No,
you
yeah.
had a defeat and going, remember you're a diamond.
Yeah, big time. No, that's always been a thing. Even after a bad spar, and you'd be going home and you'd be thinking to yourself, and you'd be overthinking it, and it's just always been, listen, you're gonna get there one day, no matter what. You need these hard spars, and it's just, he's been just reassuring me about it. You know what I mean? Over the years, and the relationship we felt unreal, and we go in the gym together, boxing, literally never away from each other. So that's it.
You're already married to the sport.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, commitment, full time, mate. Full time.
Is it nearly become are you obsessed sort of with it? You know,
it's an
you sort
obsession.
of in that sort
wouldn't know what to do without it. Like, see, I remember when I was 10, I took a year off from a transfer test to focus on next. Really wanted to get into grammar school, and see, I was crying and all see the night, so I was saying to my dad I can bring me over to the club, and I think he wanted to still bring me over. It was one of me saying, no, listen, put education first. So I took a few months off for that, and see, when I got back to it, it was just, since that I was just obsessed, you know what I mean? I knew what it was like without it, and I needed it, I kind of craved it, you know what I mean? So
how was it like for you as a fan, sort of being in the Kronk and having James Tennyson there? Obviously James had a fantastic career. Like, I call him the boat collector still to this day. Like,
yeah.
Were you always in the gym and all? Like it's crazy to think. I think he had 32 professional fights, and 28 of them never heard a final bell.
Crazy. Yeah, I always watched James, looked up to him in the gym growing up, like, and it's kind of a shame he's not still at it, because I've been able to get a few rounds of him in. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, just there's been loads of pros in the Kronk gym over the years, like, and just watching them, learning off them, even simple things, watching them shadow box, watching them, you know, hit the bag. It's just.
Were you obsessed with people as much as you're obsessed with boxing? Like, obviously you were nearly sort of staring at them going, what are they doing that for?
More or less.
Sort of trying to
yeah, just
what they do.
trying to understand it, picking up wee tips, and my dad used to say to me too, like, watch him, and do you know what I mean? He used to get switched on, but yeah, as well to start. See, when you're really young too, your attention and your focus is a bit all over the place too, so it's a bit hard to start. See, when I hit 6, 7, 8, just tunnel vision, boxing magic.
Has it been good for you as well, the fact that social media has been so, you know, you're still very young, so you've grown up with social media, so social media has probably helped you understand and develop yourself more with the sport as well, because anything you're sort of looking for now, you can find on social media. Yeah,
it makes everything a lot handier. You know, it's good as well for advertising yourself, and you know, getting more tickets sold and stuff like that. So it has helped a lot, like, and growing up to it too. Do you know what I mean? It's be able to use it well and know what I'm at. So.
I guess the final question for me is, you know, probably one thing a lot of people don't think about, ring walk songs. Have you prepared a ring walk song? Like, is it going to be something that you'll stick to one song? Like, we see so many fighters out there, as you say, the Dustin Poirier thing. People have always different songs. Like, are you trying to have a unique song that's sort of never been used? Where are you?
I've got something, but I'm keeping it to myself, and I'll get someone to take a video of it, sure, if you're not there. And
I'll be there.
Will you be there? Yeah, that's it there. No class.
So. I think it has to be a bad day if I'm not a boxing event.
Yeah, only a month. Yeah, so no, yeah, you'll enjoy it. It'll be good.
Well, Well, look, obviously I know you've got S&C now with Chris, and I don't want to be getting locked in from getting out and saying you have to take part. So obviously I thank you for your time. Obviously you have a few tickets left, so anybody that's still pondering obviously whether going to the event, you don't have much time to get a ticket before they're sold out. But great to get a chat with you.
Yes,
Can't wait to see the debut on the 2nd of November.
That's it.
And I'm sure we'll catch up soon afterwards to see how it all went.
Right there. Thank you.
Cheers, Oisin.